not to the public, not in the camera, but what are you saying when ain't nobody else around?
Mm.
And I want to be that type of man. You know what I mean? Like I'm now in the process where I am literally creating my life to be exactly what I want it to be.
Welcome back to the podcast. I started this podcast as a way to help black men in all aspects of our lives. Studies show on average we lose 2.8 years of our life when we're under heavy stress. And I think we can gain those 2.8 years back if we express ourselves healthily. Stick with me as I interview therapists, doctors, advocates, activists, and friends about how we can be better as black men and as a black community. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube and following us on Instagram and TikTok, you'll definitely want to do that. Without further ado, let's get into the episode. All right, y'all, I'm back with another episode. We're here with Prentice. Prentice is a spoken word artist and a writer. Prentice, how you doing, bro?
Bro, I am good. I'll be even better once I get my
Your phone to
proper
stay up?
phone situation together, man. Yeah, but I'm good, bro.
It's
I'm
all
good,
good,
man. How
man.
are you?
I'm good, man. I cannot complain at all, man. I'm glad to be sitting down with you. I know we've been DMing back and forth. So it's
Yeah,
good to finally sit down and have a podcast episode and talk about these things, bro. So I appreciate you spending the time with us.
it's all good, man. I'm here. I'm happy to be here. It's
Let's
healthy
do it.
therapy.
Yes, let's do it, bro. So we were talking in the precursor episode, bro, and we were talking about a lot of juicy stuff, man. So I just want to dive straight in. You talked about how you dealt with a toxic relationship, for lack of better words, before getting into this relationship with your soon-to-be wife, right? So can you tell me what it was like getting into a new relationship without healing? Because you spoke on it briefly, but I want you to expand on that.
I think like I told you, I think my situation was, you know what, I think, and I'm thinking about this now. I was gonna say I think my situation was special because transferring from the relationship I was in previously into the next one and not giving myself the typical time to heal, but
Mhm,
getting in a relationship and having a woman who gave me the platform to heal is
mhm,
why I feel like it was special for me. You
mhm,
know what I mean? So I didn't feel like I had jumped into another relationship. There was no obligations, there was no pressure, there was no nothing after I left my last relationship. And I think, to be honest with you, man, I gotta give Sarai credit because she understood that. She understood her role in the life of the man she was pursuing and wanting.
mhm,
And she understood her role required her to provide me with a blank canvas and a platform to figure out who I was after leaving a 6.5 year marriage, who I was as a man who had been through all that and spent most of his 30s in this marriage. She just gave me the space, bro.
mhm.
And to be honest with you, there's still residual effects of that relationship that rear its head in my relationship now. So I've learned that it's an ongoing process, and seeing how
Mhm.
long I've been with her, it kind of, I don't feel bad, and I don't feel like I did myself a disservice now because I'm healthier, obviously. But I also see that everybody's journey is different, you
Mm.
know. So that typical path of healing that we're always hearing about, it don't always look the same,
Right.
you know. And
Mm.
sometimes I think we see that and we see examples of people who are quote unquote healing in the manner they're doing it, and we try to place ourselves in that same scenario. And that scenario for that man is not the scenario necessarily for you.
Mm. Mm-hmm. That's a fact, bro. So I'm glad you said that because I know we're talking a lot about black mental health. We're talking about men getting in therapy. We're talking about men healing a lot on this platform. And I never want people to think that it's just this one size fits all solution and it's this cookie cutter thing. It's not, right? Like everybody, like you said, has their own path, man. So I'm glad that you've acknowledged that and that you've allowed yourself the space and the grace to be able to operate in what your journey looks like without judging yourself, comparing yourself to other people. That's very important, bro, because that'll just
Thank
be
you, man.
detrimental to you in your process.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest with you, us doing this right now is a part of that process of not
Mm,
judging myself. You know what I
mm-hmm,
mean? Once you free yourself from your self criticism, man, and realize how much of the world is already doing it on your behalf, you know what I'm saying? Like it
mm-hmm,
is,
mm-hmm.
bro. You gotta at some point forgive yourself for the things we do, man. We human. We know these stories. The kids, are we gonna repeat them?
Right, right. Nah,
What we
that's
gonna do?
Yeah, nah, that's a fact, bro. That is definitely a fact. So you talked about something that was really interesting when you were answering that question. And you said how she gave you a platform to heal. So I want to dive into that a little bit more. What did that look like? Because I know there's gonna be some women listening that are like, what does she do? I have a man in my life that I wanna really work with, and I don't really know how, right? And I'm not saying you necessarily need to speak to them. I just want you to speak from your experience and what your fiance did for you.
I would absolutely say, man, it was the void of pressure. There
Mm,
was no, so we've been so there was no, attempting to push a relationship at the pace faster than I was taking it, and it was a clear interest,
hmm
obviously. You know what I mean? But I think the one thing women should be understanding of with us men is that we're not always a rebound. Or the women are not always a rebound. I think you have to give men a time to discover themselves, but the key is the man got to be willing to discover himself. You know
mm,
what I mean? Because a woman could give you the freedom, the grace, the platform, everything that you need, but if as a man, if you're not ready to do that, as an individual, you're not ready to start that journey. It doesn't matter what platform you're provided by who. I mean, that's just kind of what I've seen. So I think it's more so, as much as I love to highlight her and love to talk about the grace she showed me and how patient. I didn't know it, but thank God I was at a space where I was ready to figure out who the hell I am now. You know?
right, right. It's two parts, right? And I'm glad you mentioned that because anytime I get that question, what can I do to get my man to open up? What can I do to get my man to heal? Or what can I do to get my man to express? I'm like, my first thought is like nothing, right? Because
Right.
the
That's
reason why I
real.
say that is because you have to be willing to do the work, right? Like he has to be willing
Mhm.
to do the work. It can't be 100% her taking on the responsibility for his healing, right? Because she's not
Right.
in control of how he responds, right? So I'm glad you mentioned that because it shows that you were an active participant in your healing. It wasn't just your fiance trying to push you in a certain direction or creating space for you. It was you saying, okay, yes, this space is created. Yes, I know that she's here to help, but I'm also going to take that help. I'm going to take that step and make sure I'm doing better for myself as well. And I think that's the big part that a lot of these women miss, which is the man has to be willing to do that work, man. It can't just be you all the time trying to push him into that, man. So speaking of doing
Mhm.
the work, I feel like you've done a lot of work, right? I don't think you give yourself enough credit when we had these conversations, right? And I think we talked specifically about cheating versus being faithful, right? And you have a very interesting story. So I want you to dive into that, man. Like you talked about like going from chronic cheating to being faithful, right? So how did you do that? Like how was that process for you?
I was thinking about it today after we talked. What was that? Yesterday, day before yesterday,
Yeah.
about the how,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I
Mm-hmm.
was really trying to think, like, how the fuck did I how did
Mm-hmm.
I do this? How did I pull this shit off? 'Cause to all y'all listening, man, listen, my Achilles heel was always being a habitual cheater. Habitual. Every single relationship prior to the one I'm in now, I was a habitual cheater. And I thought that I was never going to be able to get right. I genuinely thought that I was never going to be able to be faithful to one woman. So when you asked me that the other day and I thought about it, bro, I went all the way back to my childhood. Like, it took
Mm-hmm.
me back to my childhood. It took me back to growing up with only my mom. It took me back to being the husband, the everything in that household, not being just a kid. And me at an early age, I realized that all my validation came from women. I didn't grow up
Mm-hmm.
around, like, male leadership or anything like that. It was me and moms in the community, and there we go. You know what I'm saying? The
Mm-hmm.
Bay, Oakland, Union City, like that's what it was for me. So I sought validation through women my whole life. I don't care how good I feel. Well, previously, it didn't matter how good I felt about myself. If there wasn't no female validating me in some kind of way, it just life wasn't booming. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so what I identified was how much I relied on women to feel good. And after I
Mm-hmm.
left that marriage of 6.5 years, feeling like shit, I was like, I can't do this again. I can't do this no more. You know what I mean? Like, my value cannot be based upon what she thinks of me, whoever that she is. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, it just can't, because I know how I feel now coming out of this this relationship, this marriage for 6.5 years. I know that I'm broken. I know I don't feel like I know anything about myself. I know there was just toxicity all around. I don't want to run into this again. So I got to
Right.
figure out how to fucking love myself. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like I
Mm.
have to. And the first step was leaving my marriage. That really was, bro. It was making the jump. It was doing something I knew I should do, but I just was too terrified to do because
Mm.
all of my years, all of my time, all of my effort has been put into this family I'm trying to create and the facades that I'm putting on the internet because in hopes that my family will eventually look the way I'm trying to project it. You know
Right.
what I mean? So going back to my childhood and think about the validation for women, I decided that I wanted to validate myself. And I see so many men who seem to have this confidence. I want to know what it's like to feel that way. I want to be able to curve the baddest chick. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I wanna know what that's like. And you know, I felt after I left my relationship, I wanted to be a different version of Prentice. The
Mm.
version that, you know, that I was at the time, it wasn't hitting, bro. You know what I mean? It just
Mm.
wasn't working for me no more. So when I
Right.
made that jump, bro, you know, it feels like everything changed. But I think the work really consisted of self-love. And I feel like
Mm.
as black men, you know, man, we so good at hyping up everybody else, and we can talk that shit about ourselves, but can we talk that real shit about ourselves to ourselves,
Mm.
not to the public, not in the camera? But what are you saying when ain't nobody else around?
Mm.
And I want to be that type of man. You know what I mean? Like I'm now in the process where I am literally creating my life to be exactly what I want it to be.
Mm.
So if I got to go through this emotional gym 30 times a day to get there, I'm willing to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I'm willing to do it. So I think the real work came from self care, self love, and elevating myself in my eyes mentally. I'm a king. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? I'm for real.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a black man. I'm a king. I got to figure out how to carry myself accordingly in a way that works for me. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And for me, it really consisted of getting that monkey off my back. And I know women were my vice. And so
Right.
I had to figure out how to get rid of that vice. And I couldn't think of anything other than figure out how to love myself more than I do women.
Mm. Bro. Bro, you're spitting right now, bro. You are
It's
spitting
just
right
real,
now.
bro. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like I learned this from listening to you a lot. I'm gonna tell you the
Mm.
truth, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Direct is better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a writer. You know, this is what I talk and speak for a living. Like I'm a writer, but sometimes the words get in the way of what you really mean.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
we gotta just love ourselves more than we love women.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how much you love women, bro. Like all y'all listening, think about how much you love women. Imagine if you loved yourself more than that.
Mm.
Get
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I'm trying to achieve in a genuine way, not a way that I'm on podcasts or TV, you know, advocating this love I have for myself and this confidence, but behind closed doors, I'm still doing the same shit. So
Right.
I just didn't want to do the same thing anymore, bro. And I feel like once you change your mentality, everything else kind of starts to fall in place for you.
Right.
And like we don't have the answers. I don't know what this looks like. I don't know what the healing I need to do now. I don't know how to do it, but I know that if I commit myself mentally to doing it, things kind of like fall in your lap.
Mm. Yeah.
You know, it's either you
Yeah.
gonna take them, you know, or you not. I
Right.
could have the first time I hollered at you about getting on your podcast,
Mm-hmm.
you sent me your link. You
Mm-hmm.
said sign up. I clicked on your link. I looked at how I had to fill out something, and I immediately, bro, I looked at. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do this right now. I was at my son's school getting ready to pick him up. I remember I was like, nah, I'm a sign up later,
Mm-hmm.
and I went on about my day. There
Mm-hmm.
was there was nothing stopping me from signing up and filling it out so we can have our conversation and figure out how we were going to link. But
Yeah.
I wasn't. I don't know. I got in my way.
Right.
So at a certain point in time, when stuff falls into your lap, you know what I mean. And then here I come back months later, like, yo, bro. I
Mm-hmm.
realized that I don't want to be one of those people who taps into other brothers who are doing good work, and I just give that good energy vibe. Yeah, bro, we gonna chop it, we gonna kick it,
Mm-hmm.
and then nothing
And then
happens. I
nothing
don't want to be
happens.
that person no more. So I had to double back to you and
Yeah.
hit you like, bro, and make sure that I'm on my P's and Q's and my communication with you because
Yeah.
I am trying to get right. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
am trying to get right. If I say I want to be a man of my word, I can't let these small moments where I do little little shit like this,
Hmm.
let some self-care fall through the cracks because I don't want to type for 3 minutes.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Then I'm
Man.
still avoiding stuff. So I'm trying to catch the little details in my life, bro. I'm trying to
Yeah.
catch the butter knife and the fork that are dirty in the sink that I know I could just rinse, but I just walk away and let that shit pop. I'm trying to catch the detail.
Yeah, yeah, nah, you're talking, bro. Because this is how you heal, though. This is like you just said. I don't know how to, I don't know what I need to do to heal, but exactly what you're talking about right now is the process, right? Like all of these little small things, all these little small things that we think are small are actually really, when you think about them, they're big in terms of the principle, right? Because the principle behind it is what matters more than what you're actually doing, right? And the
Right,
principle behind it is discipline. And the principle behind it is keeping your word, right? Those are the things that I'm hearing. Having discipline with
right,
things that you set out to do, keeping your word when you say you're going to do something, right? These are very important. When we don't respect and honor ourselves, it's hard for us to demand that respect and honor from other people, which then makes it even harder for us to show up in the ways that we want to show up, right? So now it's hard for you to speak any kind of affirmation into your life because you don't even really respect yourself in that way because you're not
right,
actively acting on the things that you commit yourself to. You know you don't have the discipline, you know you don't have the work ethic. So how are you going to then respect yourself? How are you going to then affirm yourself, right? You haven't really committed to things. You haven't really set out and done the things that you said you would do. So I think as much as we want to call it small, I don't think it's small at all. I think it's very important. That's why I said I think I put it in a post. I said one of the rules that black men should have is to always keep their word. I think men just in general, right? Always keep your word, right? Like when you say you're going to do something, do it. So I respect you doubling back because most times people don't do that, right? Like most times people
oh,
don't double back, right? And it's interesting being a creator, right? Influencer, however you want to call it on social media, man. You get a lot of people that are like, yo, man, what you doing is dope. I love to tap in, da da da, blah, blah. Let's do this time or whatever. Right. You reach out, you send things, and then things just, up in the air, right? And I leave it at that. I never chase. That's what people don't
right,
understand. Like I'm never the person that's gonna chase, right? And it's not a pride
mm,
or ego thing. It has nothing to do with that because I'll double text, triple text if I need to, right? But my
right,
thought process is you're not ready and it's not a
mm,
priority for you. And that is okay. I'm not upset about that, right? But I have
right,
to understand where this person is. And I'm not gonna make it about me. I'm gonna allow them to operate however they want to operate. I cannot control that, right? So for me, it's like, all right, cool. You mess with what I'm doing, that's great. You want to do something and we haven't done it, that's cool too. If we do it, great. If we don't, okay. It is what it is. I'm not gonna treat you no different. I'm not gonna look at you different or anything like that, man. And when you said that, when you talked about that, it made me think about how many times, right? Like I put up posts all the time where I'm talking about send me a DM if you're interested in therapy, bro. I get hundreds of DMs, bro. Like literally hundreds of
oh, you got
DMs
to.
over the course of weeks, right? And I'm going back and forth with dudes, right? Like they'll ask me, like I'm interested in starting therapy. I want to find a therapist, right? And I say, okay, cool. What are you looking to address in therapy, right? They'll tell me what they're looking
Mhm.
to address. I'll tell them like, yo, bro, I think this is the best option for you. It's safe haven. We have low cost therapy. Then I ask them if they're in school or unemployed, right? They'll tell me if they are or aren't, right? And then I'll basically break it down to them. If they're in school or unemployed, then they get a discount. But if not, then you get it for the regular price, right? We talk through all these different things. And mind you, I'm asking them before I even continue the conversation and waste my time. I ask them, are you interested in this? Right? Because if you're not interested, I'm not going to try and tell you what the offer is, right? But once they say they're
Mm.
interested, everybody says they're interested. No one says, nah, I don't want to do that. Everybody said they're interested, right? And this is mind
Every
you, this
time.
is like hundreds of people. This is like hundreds of people, right? 50 to 100 people, right? I send the link. Once I send the link, it's cold. It's cold, bro. Probably like 5 to 10 people out of those like 50 to 100 people will actually go through with it. Doesn't matter if there's a discount attached. Doesn't matter if I keep on talking and telling you how many different things that's gonna be there for you. I don't ever try to sell anybody anything. I get disgusted when I feel like I'm trying to sell something to somebody. Like that's something that's
Right.
just it's just not in me, right?
Mhm.
I what I do is understand what your interests are and then tell you what aligns with what I have in the services. And if that doesn't align, then I'm never gonna DM you again. I'm not gonna come back and forth and try. Nah, I'm not doing that. I cannot do that. That's just not how I am, right? And so when I send that message out and people don't sign up,
I'm like, okay, you're not ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not coming behind you like your parent to make you do this. Part of the healing
Mm-hmm.
journey is being accountable for signing up. If you can't even do the 5 to 10 minute process to sign up, you're not going to register for therapy. You're
You're
not
not.
therapy. So I'm not going to sit here and try and add you into the safe haven community because you're not going to do the work in safe haven. And the point of being in safe haven is to do the work. It's not for you to passively consume like on Instagram. It's for you to be there and be present and do the work. And a lot of men understand that. And that's the reason why I feel like they don't take that next step. Like they know it's work required. And I think it's important for us to acknowledge that because that's a theme, right? Like we talked about that earlier too with women that are like, yo, man, I want my man to do this. I want my man to do that. Yo, he has to do the work. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like I know moms that reach out to me, man, I want my son to da-da-da. I'm like, all right, cool. Tell him hit me up.
Yep.
I don't, you know what I'm
And
saying?
so,
Yeah.
and you know what part of the problem is? I think is that we get used to the crutch.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
bro.
saying?
That's a
Like,
fact.
social media is a great crutch. You know, we done
Mm-hmm.
all used it for various crutches, various
Mm-hmm.
types of. You know, it's a great band aid.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is a great band-aid. It's great to get on, express yourself, black men. Or shit, we have a podcast. It's called All Black Men Need Therapy.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's great to hop on our podcast and write us and get information. And we go through some of the same things, and but it's a crutch because when the inspiration isn't kicking the way you need it to, can you do it? When after you've gotten all this information, are you gonna call? Then are you gonna show up?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of it has to do with emotional availability. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? You have to be available emotionally to take that next step. Otherwise, it just sounds good like everything else.
Yeah.
You know, and I just don't want to do it no more, bro. This is the best time of my life. This is the best, absolute, hands down, best time of my life. And so, like I was telling you the other day, it just opens my eyes to everything I need to work on the space I'm in. You know, and
Mm.
I want to work on it because I'm at the best time of my life. It
Right.
ain't cruise control right now. It's oh, you're healthier, Prentice. So let's get to the shit, bro. I'm
Mm-hmm.
tired of having issues. I'm tired of having daddy issues and now mama issues and all this shit. So if I gotta cry about it for a couple months and figure it out, then I'm gonna do it because, bro, I want to be as happy as I really believe I am. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like I believe
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy. I know I'm happier, man. I know I'm healthier. So I gotta get these things out the way, bro. So
That's a fact.
I thank you a million times, man, for your platform and even us having this conversation because and I mean it sincerely, bro. This is so part of my journey, man. This is so
Mm-hmm.
part of my healing, man. Like connecting with you and chopping it up with another black man and hopefully somebody can take something out of this conversation that helps them, man. This is a cycle.
Right.
And once you
Right.
get in the cycle, you know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing, man. You just got to be able to weather the storm and be emotionally available. You
Yeah,
got to be
bro.
emotionally available.
Yeah, man. That's a fact, bro. I appreciate you being here, man. Anything that I can do to help, bro. So you got my number and we can definitely chop it up and figure out things. And I'm a resource, so use me as you see fit, bro. However you want to do it, bro. But um
I will do.
yeah, absolutely. You talked about this being the best time of your life, bro. Can you tell the people what's going on? Why do you feel like it's the best time of your life?
So I'll tell you this, man. Sometimes I'm still at a space where life is so good for me that I am still getting used to saying it publicly. Me telling you
Mm,
it's the best time of my life is a challenge
mm,
because it is so good. I used to live in fear, right? Something positive happens and I'm automatically thinking about the what if.
mm,
So I'm not enjoying the moment.
mm-hmm,
A lot of things I've done, great, or I don't give myself time to celebrate the moment. You
mm-hmm,
know what I mean? I'm already to the next thing or already what's next because I'm on some super driven, motivational, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, obsessive, sociopathic shit with this poetry. You know what I'm saying? So
mm-hmm,
I'm tired of not giving myself my moments, bro. And I
mm,
realize with the work I've done and the work I still have to do, oh no, fuck it. I'm enjoying life, man.
yeah,
Because I've identified that a lot of things I placed on myself were not my fault. Were not my fault.
mm,
I cannot
mm,
control the environment I was born in. I cannot control my parents. There are so many different things I cannot control that for some reason I was led led myself possibly to believe that more of it was an accountability issue on my part than other people. So now, with life being the best part of my life, what I mean, I fought for my son. When my son was born, the courts let him move to Florida from here in the Bay Area with his mom. I used to fly once a month to go pick him up, keep him for 6 weeks, take him back, do that every 4 weeks. Did it for 11 years, bro. Lost him to summertime and rotating the holidays, all that. Got full custody of him now, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I got him now. That poem I wrote about that I did on Arsenio that I hated, it don't hit the same no more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy about that. So I got my oldest. We done upgrade, live in a beautiful home in the Bay Area. We got here in March to this home. I'm getting married in November, exactly a year the date that I proposed.
Mm-hmm.
I bought her the exact ring she wanted off of poetry money.
Mm-hmm. Talk to
We're a
him, bro.
black happy family. My
Yeah.
kids walk to school safely, bro. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I got 4 kids by 4 women, and I ain't beefing with none of them. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's moving, it's working. I'm starting to see like, oh shit, I'm on my rooftop in the
Mm-hmm.
Bay right now. I'm on a rooftop. What?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
life for me right now is like, it's like, wow, you do deserve this because you have it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. It wouldn't be sustainable if I didn't deserve it. I wouldn't be able to sustain it, right?
Right.
So
Right.
why am I constantly getting in the way of my own joy? I can't be here at this home. I can't be here around this beautiful ass black family that I created. Think about the what ifs. The what ifs are always gonna be there. You know what I mean? They're always gonna
Mm-hmm.
be there. So in the best time of my life, I gotta tackle this shit, man. I gotta, I don't want to go too deep and traumatize myself, but let
Mm-hmm.
me take one thing at a time because I'm a lot more padded emotionally and comfortable to handle some of the adversity I faced over the last couple of years in the midst of the joy. And I'm
Right.
also learning that the challenges don't go away. I feel like for me, it's just hopefully I'm in a more comfortable position all around in life as they come.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I still got bills to pay, bro. But I'll tell you one thing, it's a dope ass fucking feeling to figure out how you're gonna pay a couple of bills on your rooftop
Mm-hmm.
rather than on the street corner or in a smaller patio that I used to have. So
Mm-hmm.
I try to pay attention to the progression now, man, and just understand that everything can go in a minute, but I got to be doing something right because life is lining up too well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just let life line up well and just hope the trauma don't hit and hope the bad situations and the negativity doesn't come. It's gonna come. So you might as well get ahead of it and attack it, man. So that's what I'm trying to learn how to do. I'm talking it and I am applying it. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
a pro at it. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
a pro at it, but I know my direction. I know my path and my journey right now, so I can talk about it. I haven't achieved everything, but I'm clear on the direction.
Man, yeah, bro. You know how you speaking. This is what it is. This is the process, bro. Like everybody goes through this, right? Like we try to figure out what it is that we need to do to heal what we're dealing with, right? And that's the beautiful thing about the page, right? It's solution oriented. I give the things
Yeah,
that
bro.
worked for me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
And then that can help you to spark conversation or think about things that could potentially work for you, right? And so
right.
that is legit the way to heal, right? Because the thing about therapy, right, that people don't understand is they think you're gonna get into therapy and like your therapist is just gonna be some like wizard that just automatically knows how to just heal you, probably says a few spells, and then you leave a session and you're like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? I don't got to deal with my childhood wounds anymore. I don't got, you know what I'm saying? Everything's good. That's not how it
Yeah.
works, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't work like that. It's not this magical experience. You go into therapy and you sit down, you talk, and your therapist understands more and more as the sessions go on, but then you understand more and more as the sessions go on based on the conversations. So your therapist is trying to get to a point where they can lead you to where you need to get to, right? But the more you understand you, the more you'll be able to help your therapist to lead you in that process of healing, right? And so that is the therapeutic connection. That is the process of therapy, is having someone that is a professional at guiding you through the forest of your trauma, which is what I think of it as, right? Like having someone that's there, that's guiding you through all these things as you walk through them. But you already know that the thing about it is that you already know the forest because you've experienced it, right? That's the thing about it. Your therapist is just there to help you to make sense of it.
Bro, that's such a great analogy. That's a wonderful analogy because you do already know the forest, and I'm at a point now where I'm realizing some of these trees ain't as healthy as I thought they fucking were. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, that tree right there that I carved my name in with so much passion, that motherfucking tree don't even care about me. It can't even hold up a trap on one of its branches for me to catch some food and fucking eat. But I got my name carved into that tree because I done walked through it so many times, and somebody told me that you need to love that tree, and that fruit right there, you eat that fruit. And you eat that fruit because somebody told you to eat the fruit off that tree. You don't realize until you fucking 30, 35, 40, whatever age that, yo, I've been eating some badass fruit for
Yeah.
hella long.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's a great analogy, bro. I'm gonna keep that one in my head, man, because that's exactly what it is. And I think also there's different type of therapy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like to be transparent, bro. I really like to be transparent. We all have vices. We all have different things that we're into. And I think that it needs to be said that shit is okay. I
Yeah.
smoke, bro. I love smoking. I am an avid weed smoker. That's what I do. That is part of my lifestyle. Hey, weed helps me sometimes, bro. It does. But I understand it is not the answer. You get what I'm saying? It's medication, right? And I don't want to medicate myself. So yeah, I be high all the time, but at the same time, I'm getting some different type of therapy too. But I'm
Right.
finding therapy in the shit that I like. I'm a writer.
Yeah.
So poetry's always been therapeutic for me. So that's always been there. But I think sometimes we gotta understand, especially us as black men, we got so many layers to us as black men. Why only seek one avenue of therapy? Why? There's so many layers to you. You know what I mean? Like your homie over there makes great therapy. I know there was a brother I used to see when I used to work in the Bayview district in Hunters Point in San Francisco. I used to do this youth development course for the boys and girls over there. And there was a homeless brother I used to see every Thursday on the train going down Third Street, and we would have a conversation every Thursday. Why? Because after 7 p.m. he was on that train until midnight because he can get some sleep before he had to go out in the cold. So I would see him all the time. In my conversations with him, never gave him anything. He never asked for anything. My conversations with him were the therapy I needed in that moment. And I found myself after a couple of conversations looking for him on the train. So if he wasn't on the cart I was on, I walked through the whole cart just to kind of see. You know what I'm saying? And I realized that, there's different outlets for our therapy too. Like, don't, we absolutely need to get into therapy as black men. Professional. I'm a huge advocate of it. Professional therapy. However, you don't got the bread. You're not in the mental space. You already went like me 4 different times for a previous relationship. So you be like, therapy ain't gonna fucking work. I done did that shit 4 times. But I did that shit 4 times for a relationship. There's a big difference in me going to therapy to try to save a marriage versus going to therapy for myself. You know what
God,
I mean? And
bro.
it's the stigma that came with going 4 times for that marriage that's had me so hesitant going for myself. But it's not the same fucking thing. It's
It's
not the
not.
same.
It's not, bro. It's not. That's what
It's
people
not,
don't understand,
bro.
man. People have a lot of like misconceptions about what therapy is like once you become an adult that's cognizant and can make your own decisions. There's a lot of people that went to therapy when they were like teens and they had this white man that didn't really understand them, or this Indian man or this white woman that really didn't give a damn, right? And so they end these sessions and they feel like they're not being seen, they're not being heard. And now all
Yep.
therapists suck. It's just like it's the same thing as someone getting into a relationship with a black woman and the black woman cheats on them. I hate all black women. All black women, all black women are trash, or vice versa. All black men are trash, right? It's the same exact thing, right? You use one experience to then generalize the entire demographic. But what we have to understand is that even if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, right, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's everybody. Right. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the experience that you have with every other therapist. So we have to be able to learn from our experiences, but not allow them to dictate how we move in the future too much. Right. Because they are going to dictate and inform our decisions as they should, but we shouldn't allow them to take us away from something that could be beneficial to us, because therapy
and also
beneficial. Yeah. Yeah.
My bad, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
My
go.
bad.
You good.
I think also we got to be aware of, we pick and choose to apply that theory in our life. Where we choose to apply, it ain't gonna work, so fuck it. And when
Mm-hmm.
we don't, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's mighty convenient that a lot of times, I know I can only speak for myself. I apply that, oh, it ain't gonna work theory when it's something that's gonna be an emotional challenge for me.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But if I got a goal that I want to smash in this area of my life, oh, I'm all for it and ain't shit stopping me.
Mm.
You know what I mean? If we shoot, I gotta buy my daughter a trumpet this week because she decided she wants to start playing trumpet, and
Yeah.
I'm juiced about it. She's 9,
Yeah.
and so I can either sit down and figure out what the hell is going on and have her get the information, or I can be proactive and go get it so she has what she needs, and isn't calling me like she's been doing the past 2 days like that. I need this trumpet because I'm falling behind in class.
Mm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like you can get active and start pursuing things and figure out how the fuck to do it in the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
Or you can just kind of sit back and wait for it to happen. But I think we pick and choose a lot where we're going to help ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the key, and I'm really working on this, but the key is, can we invest 100% of our energy into ourselves, man? Can you make that your new mentality? And I feel like it's just character rebuilding. It's
Mm-hmm.
just character rebuilding, bro.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hardest part, man. Like there's no blueprint to this, to getting healthy as a black man. It's really not. So
Mm-hmm.
we gotta try, and we gotta have these type of discussions so we can help each other out.
Nah, that's a fact, bro. That is a fact, man. Earlier, you talked about having dad issues growing up, having mom issues now, right? And I know we
Hmm.
talked about personally why you felt it was necessary to set boundaries with your family. So can you explain and expand on that, bro? Because I know there's a lot of people that have family members in their lives that they're struggling setting boundaries with. They don't know how
Hmm.
to operate, right? So can you talk about your experience with that?
Yeah, synopsis in a nutshell. Raised by my mother, my father, in and out of jail. Far too typical young black man story in that sense. I have
Mm-hmm.
4 sisters. Grew up with none of them. Just in the house with my mother. My mother dated a Mexican man from my age of 4 to 18.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up in his household with his family every weekend, most of the, a lot of times. Spoke to me only in Spanish, learned Spanish. Grew up in this household as a black kid from Oakland,
Mm-hmm.
which was an interesting experience within itself. Found out he was cheating. Had to tell my mom when I came home from freshman break from Hampton. The moment I told my mom, she was devastated. He took his keys, took everything, and removed me out of his life. Got
Mm-hmm.
with the black one. She was black too. She had a boy the same age as me. Took all my stuff that was in the room and in his house, and I don't know what he did with it. Stopped answering the door. That fucked me up. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? That just how he could just dip on me like that, and I ain't do nothing wrong. Let's fast forward to 3 years ago. I finally decided I want to tell my dad, just kind of how I felt at this point. He told me, fuck you, get over it. Yeah, I fucked your mama. Nigga, I'll kill you. You ever try to do anything to me? All this shit.
Mm-hmm.
That fucked me up too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because he spent his whole life apologizing to me for being absent.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always be like, Dad, don't trip. We here. The times I'd see him, especially when I got older. Don't trip, man. Let's not talk about that shit. We here now. We just capitalize now.
Mm-hmm.
But then for him, when I confronted him on my feelings, to be so opposite, so cold, heartless, on some real fuck you nigga shit. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
really that type of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It messed me up, bro. It messed me up because I felt disrespected. I felt like you've been lying to me this whole time, man. And just stay gone. Why are you apologizing to me about not being in my life? Since when I finally come to you, you
Right.
doing this. So that happens, which creates another thing inside of me. My daughter is born on April 20th of last year, and we had a horrible experience in the hospital, racial discrimination, all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my mom violated some boundaries with her behavior. I said something to her. She chose to remove herself out of my life, pop up and pop up to my kids' football games, not speak to me. I just found out yesterday, man. She trying to find out when my son go to school so she could try to pick him up type shit. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
she don't fuck with me either all of a sudden. Always had an issue with my happiness. So I had to set boundaries and be like, yo, mom, I need you to respect what I got going on. She chose not to respect it. So now I'm in this space with my parents feeling like, damn, bro, like pops is like, fuck you. Mom's removes herself at the happiest point in my life. Now I got this marriage coming November 5th, and the marriage opened an emotional floodgate that I was not prepared for or expecting. Now, the fact that they aren't going to be there, it matters, but it doesn't matter, but it does.
Right.
It affects me a certain way now.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at everything my future wife is doing with her family, and the dynamics of my family just didn't fall that way.
Yeah.
I accept it, but it fucking sucks because I'm getting married. And I got married last time, but that was off a fluke. There was no foundation there. She asked me to marry her. We was cheating before that. There was nothing positive about what we did. So I've never been married before, even though I had.
Right.
I didn't have a wedding. I got married on my lunch break and went back to teach in East Oakland. You know what I'm saying? So all this is new for me. And thank God I have family. I have friends. But the issues that I have now at this age, at the happiest point in my life, the only reason why I'm able to talk about them and handle them, bro, is because I think I'm at a healthier space. And I think God didn't give it to me earlier because I wouldn't have been able to handle it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So those boundaries that I'm setting now are really difficult because they have to do, well, now it has to do with my mom. And everybody automatically wants to always gravitate. When they hear mom, it's, oh, you need to fix that. Oh, bro, no, it's your mom. That's the one I hate the most. But it's your mom.
She made
it's your
you.
Mom. She birthed you, bro. It's your mom. It's your mom. So when you're raised as a black man to think that way anyways, I was always dedicated, committed, and loyal to my mother. You know what I mean? Always, to a fault. Absolutely to a fault. But when you learn to start to look at people as human beings, that's what I had. When I had to take the dad title away and I had to take the mom title away and think about what I know about their lives, which have been traumatic as fuck. We know that our parents weren't really big therapy people back then. You don't need no fucking therapy. You know what I'm saying? My mom suffers with bipolarism as well. So I dealt with that growing up when the medication got low, learned how to move, what to do, stay out the way until she could afford the medic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I take all of that and I look at it now and I have to say, you know what? I get it. As much as it hurts, I get it, man. And I look at the signs of my childhood, being in this family, growing up with this family. I've always gravitated to whoever I was with, their mama, because I've always felt like I have some additional to prove with my mom. My mom's the type where she's like, good job, but what you gonna do about this? Hey, mom, I just did Arsenio Hall. And literally like, yeah, that's good. You did a good job, but is it gonna make you some money, or are you just on TV doing? You get what I'm saying? Like the butt type thing. And when it got to a point as an adult where now I'm on TV doing stuff and I'm traveling and all these dope stuff is happening, I'm still getting those butts. I realized that I've always felt the need to kind of. That's why I don't celebrate moments, because I'm always thinking about what's next, or I think I was subconsciously trained with the butt.
Yeah.
And not to her fault. My mom loves me, and I know she still loves me. But that was part of her demeanor that seeped into me. So now I'm trying to deal with the butt, and now I'm trying to deal with the boundary that I set. And my parents ain't gonna be at my wedding. But you know what? That's not my fault. And I can say, since I set this boundary, my life has improved. And that's the hard part, bro. That's what I'm struggling with right now. My life has gotten better since I set boundary with my mom, and she chose to remove herself out of my life. It's gotten better. I can't front on that. I do wish it got better. I'm glad it got better, but I wish she was a part of it.
Right.
But I'm not taking no more.
Right.
But it's your mom, P. It's your mama, P. Nah. And so now what's happened by setting these boundaries, I look at the wedding different. I look at this wedding list. I'd be like, nope, not you. Nope, not you. Yeah, related, but nope, not you. Why? Because I'm looking at the context and the value in our interaction, in our relationship.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's opened up these emotional. I cry when I see everything, bro. I've been I've been watching every groom crying video to try to get it out my system because I know I'm a fold.
Oh yeah, it's over for you. It's over, bro.
What it did, bro, but it's trippy. I was a crybaby growing up. I've always been an emotional man, but I never knew I was so in touch with my feelings. But I got made to feel very bad about it growing up. My cousins, everybody teased me for being a crybaby because I feel things and I cry, bro. And I can't help it. And so the crazy thing that's happening now over this last year since I proposed, I got this emotional door that's open that reminds me of my childhood. of when I was always crying.
Yeah.
And bro, I'm gonna be totally transparent. I was crying yesterday in the living room for no reason, thinking about some shit. Looked at Sarai and was like, I don't get why I can't control this shit right now. Like what? But I know it's all coming from a space of joy right now, man. And that's so foreign to me. It's so foreign for me to be so full of joy that it makes me emotional right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to, and I know I'm kind of rambling, going off track.
No, you're
bro,
not. You good, bro. Keep going. Keep going.
I don't know what to do with this pocket I'm in right now, man. And so I'm just trying to embrace it, but it feels so reminiscent of my childhood when I got teased that there's a part of me that's like, get it together, P. But I know it means something. I know I'm in this space right now because it means something. And one thing I've been trying to do, and I hope this helps somebody, is I take every moment that I feel and I try to make sense or get the lesson out of that shit nowadays. You know, I don't force the lesson.
Yeah.
But I try. You know what I mean? Like, and I ask myself every day, like, yo, why are you so emotional now? And I always go back to this wedding. I always go back to this wedding. I always go back to this wedding. So my conclusion is that it's the wedding.
Yeah.
So while I'm in this emotional space right now, let me try to tackle some shit, man. So, you know, I'm one day at a time, bro. One day at a time. But these boundaries were the greatest thing I've ever done because it gave me so much more sense of self. My wedding list, I have no guilt about. You know, and I hear all these stories now that I'm doing all this shit. You know what I mean? We're doing seat and charts, started last night. I have no guilt about anything, bro, because I have this newfound confidence. Like, yo, I stood up to my mama. You know,
I can
like
stand
I feel
up to,
like
I can
that,
stand
bro.
up to anybody. Yeah.
I stood up to my mom.
Yeah.
My mom is not a part of my life right now by her choice, but I've accepted it and I'm not running back for the first time. I'm not running back and apologizing for doing nothing wrong for the first time in my life. And it feels good, bro, but it came at a fucking cost. And that's the part I'm struggling with. I'm not okay, not struggling, but just that's the part that challenges me is like, damn, bro, like this healing journey will really come at some cost for you.
Yeah.
You hear about lose people along the way, but god damn, my mama.
Yeah. Nobody prepares for that,
bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, bro? And I know I'm talking how you prepare for, and you setting the line in the sand, and me not jumping bad or going off when I hear stuff or she do something I don't like, but just being calm and collected and just telling yourself like, yo, you've been making the right decisions, bro. You got to learn how to move right. These kids is watching. So I'm just one day at a time with it, bro. But I'm in this emotional space, man, that I really do wish I had a better grasp on right now because I can't make sense of it.
Yeah, bro. Let me give you something real quick for this emotional space that you're in. I think it's important for you to acknowledge that you are in tune with your emotions and there's nothing wrong with that. Right? Like I know you've been saying that, but I feel like you saying it versus how you're feeling about it are two completely different things, right? So I want to say that to you so that you hear it from another Black man. Because I'll be crying too, bro. I have moments where I'm not crying about nothing. That's the thing about crying, bro. You never cry about nothing, right? When you cry, there's a reason why you're crying, right? And it may be because of joy. It may be because you're dealing with too much stress or anxiety. It may be because of frustration, maybe because of anger, right? All of these different things will spark you to cry. And the thing about crying, I don't know if you notice, but you cry when you have an emotional imbalance, kind of, sort of, basically, right? That's why people can cry when they're so happy, or they can cry when they're mad, right? And then they can cry when they're sad. People just think crying means you're automatically sad, but that's not the case. Crying is a response, your body's response to you having an overload and a certain emotion. So when you're crying yesterday, right, it sounds like you were just really happy and you haven't been that happy before. And then you're thinking about being happy and you're like, damn, I'm happy. And now it's like, damn, I'm really so happy right now. And now you're crying because you
happy multiple times a day, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not lying to you. I cannot think of a single day in the past, I don't know how long, where I don't cry from being happy. And there's still a part of me that's not comfortable with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like it's a part that's not.
Yeah.
I love it. I love seeing this. That's why I'm trying to embrace this shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be sad. Like, I don't, nah. Like, I done wrote enough poems with pain. I want to write happy shit now. I don't want to be a legend in writing for pain.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
don't. So I'm trying to learn this happiness, bro. And I know it's an imbalance. I do hear you. I know it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I haven't learned how to embrace it yet, and I totally believe that it's happening because this may be my classroom right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This may be my class to learn how to deal with that emotion I've always had that I've always also tried to suppress.
Right. Right. And here's the thing, right? You said it earlier. You said how growing up you were considered a crybaby and how that was basically criticized. So of course you're gonna have
Oh
problems
yeah.
with it now. Of course you're gonna have issues with it now. That's most black men. Anytime I talk to black men about, yo, bro, you cry? Like, I don't even know how to cry. What you mean cry? I haven't cried in years. I don't even know what to do to cry. I'm like, damn, bro.
And I don't compute that.
Yeah.
I hear them conversations and I'm the dude. I look at cats like,
Huh?
what?
Yeah.
Bro,
Me
I
too now.
cry at the
Yeah.
drop of a dime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if
Yeah.
it affects me, bro, I may cry over that shit, but now it's
Yeah.
joy. And
Yeah.
so I'm just like, nothing's wrong. The weather is great, and I'm crying because
Because he's so
I'm
happy.
thinking about my daughter. Or
Right.
I'm looking at my family. I'm doing some shit that I never fathomed. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
So I really want to get a hold of it, bro. I want to learn how to embrace it and let
Mm-hmm.
it be a total part of me. But at the same time, I do want to have control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do want to have control of that emotion, and I don't have any control over it right now. So, like, if we talk about healing, bro, like, I spend every day, I write full time. That's all I do. So I spend every day challenging myself on how I can write this differently or do this differently or what's the next goal and obsessing over that shit. So lately I've been really thinking, like, with the tears, I've been taking it the same way. Like, yo, what is this? What does this mean? Am I thinking too hard?
Mm-hmm.
Should I just let it happen when it happens and not question this shit no more and
Mm-hmm.
try to put a lesson?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but I feel like this is the journey to healing. It's just
Mm-hmm.
trying random shit and seeing what sticks.
Yeah. Let me give you something that I think will help. Well, next time you cry or you feel yourself like, okay, I'm crying right now, I want you to journal what you're thinking about or what you were thinking about
Mm,
the moment before, what you were thinking about during, and what you think about after. I want you to
I'm gonna do
journal
that.
that. And then I want you to recollect and look at those journals over time and see what's sparking you to cry. Because then that'll help you to
Have you
understand
done
how to get control over it. Yeah. Because basically what it is that, like I said, there's always a reason. You're just now reminiscing about it. And so maybe you may not remember, right? I mean, you kind of do. You told me that's happiness, right? But let's get to the
that?
root of where that's really coming from so that you can feel more
Right.
comfortable about it, right? Because right now, I think for you, it's like, it's happiness, but is it really? Or is it something
Yeah.
else? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really, you know
No,
what I'm saying? And I want you to
okay,
journal.
so
Yeah, I want you to journal and
this
get it out for yourself, bro. For real. Yeah.
there's like 15. I think, okay, I don't know the percentage. I know it's real, but it's so fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so good. It's so good that the change now is like, I want to live righteously even more because it's so good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like having a great job. Hey, this job is cake. Let me make sure I'm here on time.
Right.
Make sure I
I don't
clock
want
out
no
on
problems.
time. I
Yeah.
don't want no problems, bro. I get along with my boss, my coworkers is great. This
Yeah.
shit is almost too good to be true. Is the
Facts.
company gonna crash in a minute? You know what I
Facts.
mean? Like, do I need to still just shop my resume?
Right.
So, and I'm trying to get away from that, bro, because I feel like as black men, we got to get away from that in general. We got to get
Mm-hmm.
away from the butt and
Mm-hmm.
learn how to enjoy the moment so that it can become your reality. That's what I'm doing.
Mm.
I'm learning how to enjoy it, so I'm absolutely convinced that this is my reality. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, this
Right.
is my life. This is your reality, P, because I sure was comfortable with it being my reality when things were shitty for me too. Oh shit,
Right.
well, this is just how life is for me. Like, I can't never get a break. Tell myself shit like that. All the negative reaffirmations.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the negative content that I was okay with telling myself. So
Right.
why am I not okay with telling myself the opposite, the same when it comes to joy?
Right.
That this is my life. That was a chapter. Now my life is food in the refrigerator and kids are clothed and have bikes and shit and
Yeah.
do what these kids is doing now. And I'm smiling like, wow, we're providing them with these opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
little shit, bro. I used to see on TV like, the little Power Wheels. Mrs. got a new Range Rover and then got the little girl a little toy Range Rover matching joint. You know what I mean? Like little things. Little things. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like little
Yeah.
things and seeing that and being like, there's no cameras right now. Like
Right.
I'm in my driveway, nobody's watching, and this shit is my fucking life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I got all this trauma that I gotta deal with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I got
Mm-hmm.
all this baggage that's surfacing and that I'm trying to get rid of and throw off the side of this fucking roof right here so I can have a little better posture. So it's just an interesting space to grow and constantly have to figure it out. And I'm just realizing that, I did myself a disservice. Everything happens for a reason, but I did myself a disservice by not choosing to love me sooner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
upset about that. But yo, it come with the game. I'm here.
Yeah. Bro,
I got it.
listen.
So, cool.
Listen, you talking to the right person, bro. Give yourself grace. This week we've been talking a lot about grace and forgiveness, bro. Give
Yep.
yourself grace. You're doing the
That's
best
what
that
it
you
comes.
can, bro. You're doing the
Yeah,
best that you
yeah,
can. And now that you know better, you're doing better, bro. It's that
yeah.
simple. It's that simple, bro.
Sometimes I tell myself it's not though. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like sometimes I tell myself it's not that simple. It's not. What is it? What else? What is it? Just my season? Like it's still hard sometimes to just really just enjoy it all, man, and soak it in.
mm,
But I really just want brothers to know that like we are walking testimonies every time we open our mouths, and if we choose to talk about more than just fucking bitches and you know the cliche that's being sold to society, we got a lot of depth, man. And I see more brothers caring about mental health nowadays.
mm-hmm.
I see more brothers talking about it. I hear more brothers rapping about it. I'm a hip hop fanatic. I love rap music, and it's
Mm-hmm.
refreshing. It's refreshing to know that my favorite artists, personally, that I listen to every day of my life, all they talk about is getting healthy and
Mm-hmm.
what they like. They talk about raising their kids. They talk about being positive. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that's what I'm feeding myself. So we got to pay attention to also what we feed ourselves, man. I unfollowed 1,000 pages, literally. I told myself I was gonna give myself 2 weeks to unfollow 1,000 pages.
I need to do that,
I
man.
unfollowed. A lot of that shit is unhealthy, bro. And a lot of
Yeah.
people will pop up in my timeline, and I'll be like, "Oh, I remember why I started following you,"
Yeah.
or
Ooh. Yeah.
"I remember where I was at when I clicked that follow." Oh, I remember. I gotta unfollow you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I just remember the space, so I remember what you. I remember what your content provided for me when I press follow, and right now I don't want that content, so unfollow.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like them little things that we can do to kind of detox and feed ourselves some of the shit we need is really in the palm of our hands. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's
Mm.
important that we realize that along with this journey and trying to get right and taking this game, we got to do, like you said, we got to do the work. And some of
Yeah.
that work we be avoiding. We just scroll past, right? But keep following. You need to be out that DM, bro. You want to slide, or you slid already, and she just ain't responding. Unfollow.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what you need to be doing right now. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta have the willpower to do it. But I just wish I had the answer on what it was exactly you need to do to find the willpower. But I just know it's different for everybody.
Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing about it, right? Like we talked about the healing journey. It's different for everybody. And for some people, it's like for me, it was getting cheated on. It wasn't even depression for me. That's a real interesting thing. Even though I talk about depression and how much it like impacted me at that time, we weren't talking about therapy. So therapy wasn't a solution for me at that time. For me, it was getting cheated on. It was
It was
ego.
that act.
It was the
Oh, it was
ego
the
that drove
ego.
me. If you really think about it, right? Because for me, it was like I got cheated on. Why the hell did this happen? How the hell could this happen to me? That's ego in a sense, right? Like my ego kind of pushed me to it, right? So for
It's
different people, it's
interesting.
different things, right? And so for me, I was like, nah, man, I got to deal with this. I got to understand. It was ego, and then also hoping that therapy would give me the solution to getting into healthier relationships, and it hasn't. I mean, I've given myself the solution right through therapy, right? And so that was my driving force. And when I talk to a lot of Black men, a lot of us start our healing journeys after going through breakups or bad relationships or whatever the case may be. Like that is for a lot of us the force that pushes us, right? The catalyst, exactly. So it's not uncommon for Black men to say, you know what, I just went through a toxic relationship. I'm ready to start getting it. I'm ready to start healing now, because now they understand that just because I get in a relationship doesn't mean that it's going to be the relationship that I get into for the rest of my life. And if that's the case, then I want to make sure that the next relationship is healthy and potentially can be the last one. And like that real fear is technically almost like a fear of abandonment, fear of ending up alone. Like that fear right there will push a lot of men to get into therapy, because it's like, oh, hell no, I don't want to, like, oh, nah. If I can end up alone,
we gotta fix this.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, nah, I'm about to fix this right now. I'm not about to end up alone at all. And if therapy is gonna help me with that, I'm gonna spend the money, I'm gonna invest, and I'm gonna get into it. So it's definitely not uncommon, bro. The amount of men that I talk to and I tell them, like, yeah, my breakup sparked this and sparked that, they'll just tell me the same thing. I'll be like, oh, you see? Like it's that's why I call myself the average Black man. Because I'm like, yo, bro, like on average, like this is what Black men are dealing with, bro. Like, so yeah, man, this has been, this has been great. Now go ahead, you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say it was the opposite for me, bro. Every woman that ever cheated on me, I gave them another chance, and I had to think about that. You know
Why? Yeah.
I had to think about, yo, why can't you ever, like, she just violated you before you violated? Well, shit. I mean, okay, let's keep it real. Let's keep it. I've been a habitual cheater, so I can't retract that. However, we know that don't mean shit. You could be cheating your ass off, if she do something to you, hey,
it's over.
It's over. You know what I'm saying? Like,
unfortunately, that's the double standard. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That double standard we carry, but I also really, putting that to the side, I had to ask myself, like, why did I not tell myself I wasn't deserving of this and remove myself from this situation? Because now I got an attitude all the time. I'm paranoid. I'm insecure. You know what I'm saying? Why am I going back to these women after why am I always giving a second chance? So, all of it stemmed back to me, my childhood, my relationship with my mother. And I don't want to make it sound like my mother was, you ask me, my mother was amazing. You know what I'm saying? And I still say that shit. Like, she did her job with me, bro. Like I'm successful. She did her job.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It stemmed back to a lot of my childhood, and again, just that confirmation and validation from women fueling my life. And I think the art form that I chose to get in with being a writer and the success that happened with it, and then the attention that came, continued to pacify the trauma that I really needed to deal with. You know what I mean? When you're on national TV and women are being women, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who fuck with niggas, guys who be on national TV. That's a great band-aid, bro. When you got a bunch of shit going on.
Oh yeah.
But you also don't understand that, you going around sleeping with these women, and you wonder why you ain't right inside.
Yeah.
You don't know what she's going through. You willing to be her rebound, but she's still fucked up from her last relationship.
And you still messed up too. Yeah. You still messed
up. So we got this mixture of emotions and people and spirit and energy inside of our body. And if we just take the time to cleanse ourselves, to do a full repair, to do a full tune up, to take out the parts, to rinse off the oil, to wipe shit down internally on our own clock, not how soon somebody else tells us we need to heal, we could be a lot better, bro. So
that's a fact. The way I always think about that situation is like trying to put a band-aid on a broken knee. It's just not gonna suffice, bro. And you're gonna always be walking around with a limp, but you got a band-aid on it. So I guess, I mean, you don't gotta look at it, but it's not gonna suffice. You have to do something about that, bro. Man, this has been dope, man. I just want you to, I always end with like having the guests tell people where they can find them, where they can find more. I know you do spoken word, you're a writer, you have a lot of different things that you get into, bro. So please tell the people how they can support you, how they can find you, how they can reach out for more, man.
PrenticeCloud.com will be back up mid-October. That is my website. For now, social media, you can go to Instagram, Prentice 1906. More importantly than any of that, I want everybody listening to tap into our podcast, All Black Men Need Therapy.
Mm.
Myself, my best friend's Chief, my other homie Bill. We do a podcast, really organic. Definitely about to have you on the show.
Yes, sir.
And we talk about real ass topics just like you do from a space of absolutely no judgment, sometimes impromptu. We are not professional therapists, but it helps us on a weekly basis. So
Yeah.
tap into All Black Men Need Therapy. You can find me, Google me, Prentice Powell, Instagram again, Prentice Powell 1906. But tap into All Black Men Need Therapy.
Yes, sir. Prentice, thank you so much for the dope episode, man. I know this is super powerful and it's gonna help a lot of people, bro. I appreciate you for real, man.
All good, man. We're gonna keep working, bro.
Yes, sir. Yo, I'm excited, man. We're currently building the exclusive community and it's going to have so many dope features. We're partnering with a Black organization to offer low-cost therapy to each member of the exclusive community. And when I say low cost, I mean that members will be able to get therapy sessions for less than $50, regardless of who they are and where they are. We're also going to have free ebooks and courses, including both the Hurting to Healing ebook and the therapy ebook I'm currently writing, live podcast episodes where you'll be able to interact with the guest and I in real time, community forums, exclusive merch, and categorized content so you can easily find information that may be useful to you. So go to expressyourselfblackman.com/therapy and register for early access. It's literally a 30-second process. I just need your name, email, and social media handle to make sure you get access before anyone else. And before I dip, I just want to thank you for your support. Without people like you, none of this would be possible. I can't wait to see you when we launch.
Sometimes I know you feel like you ain't got nobody to speak to. Shoulder to lean on somebody you could preach to. No, you need to hear it, my brother, I love you. We got way too much to live for.